Good Saturday morning, everyone. John and I are here live at DraftKings at Casino Queen. John, good morning.
Good morning. Big day today. We got bank shots in college basketball. We got, bombs in college football.
4 a.m. college basketball games to bet.
We had another 4 a.m. today.
Yeah.
It was the Broncos are Ryder again. I guess they're staying in Ireland. Ryder played.
Well, they're not going to go all the way over there and play one game.
Yeah, I guess so. They played Friday morning at 4 a.m. and then they played Central Arkansas this morning at 4 a.m.
Wonder how many teams went over. Do you know?
No, I think it's probably just four, 3 or 4, probably 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're probably doing a little four thing tournament. Winner goes on, loser plays the loser, winner plays the winner. Let's go back to the big states.
Yeah. So we were in action at 4 a.m. this morning, were we?
I was yesterday morning. I got burned on Ryder yesterday, so I left the Broncos of Ryder alone today.
So yesterday on 590, John tells me that he had action on the 4 a.m. basketball game, and I said, "What do you know about Ryder?" And what was your response?
A little. I've been following them a little, but they're obscure. They're one of those conferences like the MEAC or the SWAC or, these slower conferences. We got to show the little guy some love, David.
Yeah.
Got to show the little guy some love.
Yeah.
So.
The only thing that mattered is it doesn't matter. I'll give you a little story, and I probably already told this before, but it's pretty funny. So I'm over here betting last year, and my buddy goes, "What do you know about Middle Tennessee State?" I said, "I know they're on the board, and I can bet it." That's what I know about Middle Tennessee State.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's it, right? It's on the board. It's getting action.
Middle Tennessee State beat Miami this year. In football.
They beat who?
Beat Miami in football.
In football?
Yeah.
Really?
That's how you know Miami's having a bad year.
Yeah.
They beat them by 14.
Is it Miami having a bad year or Middle Tennessee State having a great year?
No, Miami's having a bad year.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of prior games, we don't normally get a chance to do this, but we're going to do this morning, and we're going to go over last week. One of the first things I want to talk about is both you and Ryan liked Mizzou plus 21, and that wasn't very
Mizzou kind of went to sleep on us in the second half defensively, which I thought could happen. But, Tennessee's offense, when it gets going, they throw, Hooker to Hyatt. That, combination's been going all year. They can score some points. So, they took Mizzou out and, beat them pretty good.
Yeah, it was ugly.
Yeah.
That's all right. Mizzou's back this week. All right. And we'll talk about that a little later. Let's talk about the LSU game from last week.
Yeah, LSU, Arkansas. LSU went to Arkansas, wins by 3, squeaks one out in a very close game. Everybody's watching that game thinking this could be the one where LSU stubs their toe, and if they did, then Bama would be back in that SEC championship game. But they didn't, so nevertheless, they play a pretty bad UAB team today. They're 15-point favorites against UAB. UAB's in bad shape. They're okay for a middle-of-the-road team, but I don't even think they're going to cover today. But LSU, Arkansas last week, LSU took care of business, said buy the hook. We bought the hook. They win by 3, so we don't lose.
Yeah, I like that.
That's why we buy the hook.
Don't lose is a good thing, right?
That's why we buy the hook down from 3.5
especially when
to
you're
3.
doing multi-team parlays. You got to do it.
Yeah.
You got to move the needle a little bit. Once again, it's the difference between whether I've won 5-teamers or 4-teamers and not. So moving on, West Virginia in the points. That's who you liked last week. How'd that work out?
Yeah, West Virginia took care of business against Oklahoma. Oklahoma had to go to West Virginia, and that was kind of the difference there. West Virginia can be a good home team. It's a pretty good environment, going to the mountains of West Virginia and Morgantown. And Oklahoma's been very inconsistent this year. They're sitting here now at 5-5. Who would have thought we'd have seen Oklahoma at 5-5?
Yeah, that's our buddy Prodigy's team.
West Virginia, yeah. They've had a couple of big wins this year. They've been up and down is their problem. They can't find any consistency. They'll have a big win, like they have beat Baylor on a Thursday night, I believe. That was a good win for them. They'll beat Oklahoma, but then they'll lose games they shouldn't or just look bad where they shouldn't. But they're trying to find their identity. It's one of those teams that are kind of searching for who they are, trying to have a good finish to this year and look forward to next year. But Oklahoma's sitting at 5-5. Who would have thought that? They got 2 games. Oklahoma's got 2 games left. They lose these next 2 games, they're going to be 5-7 and no bowl game for Oklahoma. I don't know the last time that's happened. Not even a bowl game. 5-7. So they play Oklahoma State today. They finish with Texas Tech. As bad as Oklahoma's played, they could lose both of those games.
Want to go on to Pitt -5.5?
Yeah, one of our favorite plays of the week. Me and Ryan both love that one. I said I would have taken it all the way up to 7. But Pitt takes care of business. They start the game, David, on 2 pick sixes. Get this. So Virginia gets the ball. First play of the game, pick 6, 7-0. Pitt kicks off to Virginia. Next play of the game, pick 6, 14-0 in about 10 seconds. Crazy start to that game. But yeah, Virginia was never in it. Pitt just took care of business. That was one of our favorite plays of the week. Me and Ryan last week was all over that one. And another play that was very interesting was Michigan -30 to 30.5. So Michigan -30.5 was the line. I bought the hook on it, brought it down to 30. Why not? So they're kicking a field goal at the end of the game. Michigan is, and to cover, and the kid makes the field goal finally to cover. So we had to sweat that one out. But hey, you got to have a sweat every once in a while. They can't always be like Pitt and Virginia, where Pitt just demolishes them. But yeah, Michigan covered 34-31. They cover by the point. So.
Yeah, well, there was a flag that got him to re-kick
Yeah,
it.
there was a late flag that caused them to kick the field goal. So we'll take that. Anytime that happens, we'll take any help we get.
It doesn't matter how you get there, right?
No,
Just as long as you do.
long as you get there.
Did you watch? Well, let's do this first, and then we'll go to it. Ole Miss +12.5.
Ole Miss, Alabama. Yeah.
+12.5.
Yeah, Ole Miss kind of gave that game away, man. They stalled on a late drive. They're down 6. They forced Bama to a field goal, which they had to do. They get the ball back with less than 2 minutes, but couldn't convert. So yeah, Ole Miss, Alabama +12.5 was too many points. I really loved that one. I'd have taken it all the way down to 10 and been comfortable.
What bowl game is Alabama going to get this year?
They're talking about the Orange Bowl with Clemson, Alabama. That would be an interesting game. Very interesting game. Clemson, Alabama in the Orange Bowl. That'd be something to look forward to. Again, that's why, the cat's out of the bag with this playoff stuff. It's already going to happen. Doesn't matter how I feel. Doesn't matter how anybody else feels. It's going to happen. So we might as well embrace it and try to get as many teams in as possible because they're going to 12. But this is what we're going to lose. We're going to lose these bowl games where not everybody can win a national championship. Pro sports is all about let's fast forward to the playoffs. Let's get to the playoffs and see who's going to win the NBA Finals. Let's get to the playoffs and who's going to win the Stanley Cup. Let's get to the playoffs and who's going to win the Super Bowl and the World Series, right? So college football is not like that.
Well, there is 6 months in between there.
Yeah, but it's just kind of the, test everybody out and see who's good and who's not and, stuff like that. That's not what college football is about. College football is about big environments and big bowl games, and not everybody can win a national championship. And just because you don't win a national championship doesn't mean you had a bad season. Clemson, Alabama having, great seasons. Clemson's having a great season. They're going to finish 11-1, hopefully, beat South Carolina, win the ACC. Well, 12-1 with the ACC championship game. So win a conference, win your state, go to a great bowl game. That's what college football is all about. I can't count how many bowl games I went to growing up that were just great wins for the program. Clemson beat Ohio State in a big bowl game in the Orange Bowl. That was great. They beat LSU one year on a last-second field goal kick on a 4th and 16 they convert. So that's really what college football is about. But we're making it about this playoff. So we're going to lose games like Clemson, Alabama in an Orange Bowl. We're going to lose games like Clemson, LSU, and the big bowl games that we've had. It's going to water it down. That's the problem. It's going to water down the regular season. It's going to water down the bowl games. But, hey, they don't care how I feel. The cat's out of the bag on this playoff stuff.
Well, I know you don't like it, but I'm sure there's plenty of people that do.
We got to embrace it. It's going to be here. So, but, yeah, Ole Miss +12.5 was a great cover last week. Illinois-Purdue was an interesting game last week. Illinois needed to win that game so they can play for the Big Ten championship game. Who would have thought in August that we'd have been talking about Illinois playing for the Big Ten championship game? But Bielema has got them rolling, man. I like them today.
They should have won their first game.
Huh?
Illinois should have won the first game of the season.
Yeah, that was a bad loss, that first game.
Yeah.
But they've been rolling ever since then. I like them plus the points today against Michigan. But they lose to Purdue. That was such a bad loss because now they have to beat Michigan to play for the Big Ten championship game. They're going to have, and they're going to Ann Arbor at 11
Yeah, it's going to be a little tough.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. They're 17.5-point dogs. I like the points. I think they're getting their running back, Brown. So, Illinois is having a great year. It's good to see, man. I like it when Mizzou and Illinois and these teams around here have great years because it gets more notoriety to the college football game and gets more people excited. And, you see the shirts out, the Illinois Mizzou shirts out. But, Illinois, Purdue beats Illinois last week, and Illinois loses kind of a heartbreaker of a game. But let's see here. Looking across the board last week, let's see here. Penn State took care of business against Maryland, 30-0.
Yeah.
Anytime you hold anybody to nothing in college football, you're doing something good for sure. UCF when Tulane was an interesting game. Tulane only had one loss all year. They were looking to go 11-1. They had UCF today at home, or last week at home, but Tulane didn't show up. UCF just came in and beat them 38-31, and it wasn't that close. It was like 38-17, and then they got two garbage time touchdowns. But Tulane with another loss, so they got 2 losses this year.
All right. Well, let's talk about your trip last week. That was a bunch of fun. We had a bunch of fun last week, man. We finally got your camera to turn the right way after a few minutes, and then we got to see any. If you guys haven't had a chance to see, Clemson, John was at Clemson Death Valley last week, and he got a chance to show us the stadium and do his segment from Death Valley. Man, that was a bunch of fun. Tell us a little bit about your trip.
Oh yeah, it's always fun to go back home. That's where I'm from. Spent the first 19 years of my life there, so it's always fun to go back home. I'm going back this weekend for Thanksgiving too, so we're gonna have some great Thanksgiving food. But yeah, last week was fun. Louisville was coming in red hot. They were 6-2, won 4 in a row, and our defense really shut them down.
Yeah,
our defense took care of business, and Malik Cunningham, their star quarterback for Louisville, got hurt on a stupid run at the end of the second quarter. I don't know what the kid was doing. There's 2 seconds left, and they're on the 50, so they can't kick a field goal. All they do is throw a Hail Mary, right? End of the half. Well, he goes taking off, scrambling outside the pocket, trying to run for, 30 yards or run for what he thinks he can get a touchdown on. In the middle of that kid running, I said, he better be careful. He's going to get himself hurt. And about 5 seconds later, somebody comes in and just, bam, blindsides him. And he was laying on the turf for about 10 minutes before they got him off and carried him in the locker room at halftime. And he came out of the locker room after the half. He was in street clothes.
Really?
Yeah. So he got himself hurt. But, Clemson took care of business. I like Clemson -7 last week.
Yeah.
I thought this was a rebound game for them. They were going to come out motivated. Back at home after the Notre Dame loss, Dabo had them going. So.
Well, let's talk about the backup quarterback for Louisville.
Oh, yeah, the backup quarterback for Louisville. Interesting story. He's one of the kids on Last Chance U, the Netflix documentary, guys.
Wait, I haven't found out. I tried to look to see which one he's on. There's 3 seasons.
I can look that up.
Yeah, look that up. But
he came in the game, and he was throwing the ball better than Malik Cunningham was. I mean, this kid was getting hit every play, but throwing the ball really well. I mean, receivers, one time it was a 3rd and 16, receiver walked right under the ball and caught it for like a 25-yard gain. We had the game in hand, so it was like, all right, I can see Louisville make a few plays and not get too upset, not get too anxious because we were up by 17, I think.
Well, I mean, not only are you nuts about your team, right? You're a diehard fan, but once you got it in hand, I'm sure you're a fan of college football in general, right? So you wanted to see him play, see what he had.
Fan of the ACC. I always want the ACC to win. I always want these teams that we play to win. So, it'll be a big game when we play them, So
how long, not next season? Is it next season they're in Louisville?
Well, actually, the ACC is doing away with divisions, guys.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So they're doing what the Big 12 is now, where they're just one conference, no divisions. And what kept Louisville and Clemson playing each other is they were in the same division, in the Atlantic division. There's the Atlantic and Coastal. Louisville and Clemson in the Atlantic, so they would play a home and home every year. Now they're not going to have divisions, so they've announced. I think we do go to Louisville, but it's in 2 years, and then in 2 more years, I think they come to Clemson or something. But
Well,
it's not every year like it used to be.
I know we've talked about this before, but when they are in Louisville, we're gonna go. We're gonna go to the track during the day,
Oh yeah,
and we're gonna go to the game at night.
Yeah.
The game's at night, right?
Well, they don't announce the game time until the week of the game.
Right.
So we won't know game times
the week
until
of the game?
Week of the game.
Really?
It's not like the NFL, no. Because they don't. What are you going to do? Let's say you want to put a prime time game. Let's say you sketch your schedule in August. You want to put that prime time game at night, right? Have a big night game. Well, what if you've already set the schedule 2 months ago, and a game that you thought wasn't going to be good is all of a sudden the game of the week this week. So that's why you don't set your schedule in advance. I like how they do that. I wish the NFL would do a little bit of that, where they wouldn't set these Thursday night games up.
That's kind of hard to have, to buy tickets for a college
football. You just
football.
don't know if it's going to be, noon.
Well, I understand, but people like me need to have their schedule, right? Like if I can't do here, I'll give you for instance, if the game is at night in Louisville, right? It's a 4 hour drive from right here. Like I could do the show and then go to the game at night. But if the game's a noon game, I can't go. So I don't know till the week of.
Yeah.
So you can't plan in advance.
Well, yeah, I get it. But college football fans, they plan the whole day for that. It don't matter if it's 6 a.m., 6 p.m., or midnight. For. It don't matter. They're there regardless. That's what they're doing the whole day.
Yeah.
You tailgate at 6 a.m. for a 3 p.m. game or a 6 p.m. game. It don't matter. You're just there the whole day. So that's kind of the way college football's always worked. So
you see how he lights up, Russell? Yeah.
Yeah.
You see how he lights up everybody?
Oh, yeah. That's how it is, guys. That's what makes it special. Is the regular season, these big time college football games, man.
But after the national championship, it's what a letdown for you for the year, right? I mean, it's like the rest of the year you're already waiting for next football season.
Yeah. After that national championship, it's the heart it skips a beat for. Oh man. Well, when's the spring game, David? And let's see how recruiting's going.
Yeah,
that's what you got.
So I am a little disappointed, John. I have to say, and I wanted to wait till today to say to you, I'm a little disappointed I didn't get any swag. I got no swag from you from Clemson. Oh, there it is.
I'm going back this weekend. You got to remind me, David.
I mean,
you got to remind me.
I'll pay for it. But
I brought a bunch of stuff back.
Of course you did. Not for me.
Yeah. I went to the checkout counter. The total was $500.
Get out of here. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. It's just money. You know what they say. Money comes and goes. That's why we call it cash flow. Money comes and goes. That's why you call it cash flow. So, but yeah, it was about $500 trip to Tiger Sports Shop and Mr. Knickerbockers and Tiger Town Graphics. So we spent a bunch of money.
Tiger Town Graphics?
Tiger Town Graphics, yeah. It's an institution in Clemson, South Carolina.
Well, okay, what is it?
It's just a store. You go in, they make shirts that week for the game, Beat Louisville or beat whoever we're playing. And then on Sunday, you get your score shirt, your score to that game. So, yeah.
So you went and got that also?
Yeah. You got to have memory, 31-16 final last week against Louisville. It was 31-10.
How can you forget it's on a T-shirt?
Well, yeah, I know. I'm going to remember that for years, David. I'll pull that shirt out. Oh, yeah. That was the game Malik Cunningham decided to get hurt in. They brought the last chance U quarterback in.
Yeah.
But, they get a garbage time touchdown. They don't even kick the extra point. It was at the buzzer.
What's the kid's name? Last chance U kid.
Brock Doman. Domann. Brock Doman. Yeah, he was a last chance U guy. There's a bunch of seasons of that. I can't find the one that he was on. But, yeah, Brock Doman was a quarterback of one of the last chance U junior colleges. Finds himself in Louisville, Kentucky now. So, kid was throwing dimes in the second half. I mean, just lighting it up. And he was taking hits. I'd start him this week. If Malik's not doing good, I'd start him this week. Kid was just lighting it up.
All right, so I got to ask you, my buddy Chris. My buddy Chris, I woke him up.
Riffy.
Riffy.
Yeah.
I woke him up this morning because I left some of my equipment at his house, and I made him get up in the cold weather and meet me by the interstate so I could pick it up on the way here. How would you
Oh.
feel about a 6:30 a.m. call? You got to get dressed, get in your vehicle, and come meet me with a piece of equipment.
Oh, David, I'd come get you if you were in the middle of an Iraqi battlefield, my man.
You hear that, Chris? You hear that? All right, that's all I wanted. Thank you very much for saying that. Oh, all right. A little bit in about what do we got? What time is it? In about 5 minutes, we're gonna bring on Mike Yu. Mike Yu is back with us. We haven't had him since like one of the first weeks that we were on here at DraftKings.
I was traveling the world. I was down in Tampa, Florida.
Traveling the world.
Yeah, I went on a 2 month. I was gone every weekend for about 2 months, from work to I was on an Alaskan cruise. I was everywhere, man. But that's the last time you guys had Mike on. It's always good to have Mike.
Yeah, I'm real excited to hear what he has to say. A lot about. I can't wait to get into it with him. The Green Bay Packers, right, Mike? You ready to talk about the Green Bay Packers? Yeah, he's ready.
But finishing up the week, I know that Oregon had a big loss last week too. Oregon, Washington. All us Clemson fans were sitting there watching that one, saying, "All right, let's say bye-bye Oregon because we need teams in front of us to lose." So bye-bye Bo Nix, bye-bye Oregon, bye-bye Bo Nix. So they're gone. Oregon's gone. So that's good.
So one of the things we're going to talk with Mike for about an hour. One of the things we're going to talk about is I don't know what that says. Okay. It's useless, he said. Not help. No help. I have no idea what that is. What was I saying?
One of the things we're going to talk about.
That doesn't help me. Oh, yeah. We want to talk about the college football playoff picture. I know Mike wants to talk
shaping up.
So you guys will get a chance to get into that. I'll let you guys. I have no idea where my brain was going, but that's okay. It's probably why you should make notes, right?
I don't make notes. I'm a scrambled egg up here, but it comes out eventually. That's all that matters, my man. But
because it's so true. That's why it's funny.
Speaking of the playoff, Oregon is gone, so we're glad to say bye-bye to them. Where Auburn had a big win last week. Yeah, Michael was here, hoping that Auburn would beat A&M, and they did. That was cool to see. Cadillac Williams is their coach.
Cadillac Williams? I remember Cadillac
Carnell Williams. Yeah. He's their coach, David. Yeah. Makes us feel older and older every decade, I guess. But, yeah, Cadillac Williams is coaching them down there. Had his first win. So that was cool to see him beat Texas A&M. I was tired of Texas A&M to start the year, so I'm glad they're just awful. 3 wins all year for A&M. Yeah, they're just awful. Best recruiting class in the country, David. Number 1 recruiting class. 3 wins is what they got to show for it. Yeah. So it's not working down in College Station, thankfully. Because I never been a big Jimbo Fisher fan. I don't like the way he left Florida State. I just they want to do the NIL approach to recruiting. It's what A&M does. I don't like that at all. They don't want to develop players. They just want to go get this transfer, get this 5-star, and plug him in. They want to plug and play. You can't plug and play in college football, and that's what it's proven. The great schools do it when they develop players and they don't take many transfers. You look. Hey, all roads lead back to Clemson. I know, but look at what Dabo does.
I'm gonna have a bruise on my shoulder by the time.
Look at what Dabo does. He develops players with Hunter Renfrow, Ben Boulware, all these guys. It's about player development. Not about NIL and transfers, man. But I'm glad to see A&M just going right down the toilet. So that's good to see.
All right. Well, if you haven't had a chance to catch us on Friday night, we are on 590 The Fan every Friday from 6 to 7 after Bernie Miklasz. Man, we had a bunch of fun yesterday talking a little bit about Thanksgiving. We'll do that at the end of the show and kind of go over a little bit about Thanksgiving, what we got planned for you guys. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Mike Yu is back with us. Can't wait to talk to him. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We are live here, DraftKings at Casino Queen, and joining John and I now is Mike Yu. Welcome back, Mike.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, I couldn't wait for you to come back, man. And especially, I mean, I'm not going to dig you too hard on the Green Bay Packers.
No, that's all right. I deserve every little bit you give me.
No, we're going to go over it a little bit later. But, John, I want you to take over with Mike and talk about the college football playoff picture. So why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, like I said, it's open. It's shaping up. The playoff picture's shaping up. My Clemson Tigers need some help, but we're going to go to a good bowl game anyway. We'll be 12-1, hopefully. Play North Carolina ACC championship game, but playoff picture shaping up for sure.
Who are the 4 teams that you expect to get into the playoffs as of right now?
Expect to get in?
Yeah, expect. Let's not go with what is out there right now or what they're saying, but yeah. how do you see it shaping up as the season progresses the next 2-3 weeks?
I don't see how they're going to keep Georgia out with an SEC championship game loss.
Yeah, I don't either. Can LSU beat Georgia in the championship?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's wide open. Every team's wide open. There's not one team that you look at and says this is 2018 Clemson, this is 2019 LSU, or 2019 Clemson for that matter.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think everybody is capable of being beaten, and I think there's at least 4 or 5 teams that can win the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason they couldn't. Georgia don't have their. I've said all year, Georgia doesn't have those running backs and receivers they had last year.
Yeah.
Now they got, they are tight end this year.
Oh,
that Bowers
for sure.
kid.
Yeah.
That Bowers kid's phenomenal. He's an NFL machine waiting to happen. But they don't have the skill positions they had last year.
They don't have the defense they had last year either. They're a little bit more inexperienced.
It's just taking a smidge step down. Defense is still very good, but the defensive line's very good. That Tennessee game, I would have liked to see them play Tennessee without the rain.
Yeah.
That game was a mess in the second half. Just wet, messy. I
also think that Georgia had that lead, though, going into the second half to where they just kind of slowed things down, and they didn't necessarily need to open it up. And I think the game played exactly the way Georgia wanted to in the second half.
Exactly, man. It did. They knew Tennessee was going to – when you got a big lead like that, guys, you know what's going to happen.
Yep.
You can just sit back and rush 4 linemen and just drop everybody and say, throw the ball if you want. We got 7 people back here.
Is Tennessee good enough to beat Georgia in the playoffs, and can they win the whole thing?
No, I don't think Tennessee can win the whole thing.
Hendon Hooker just doesn't have the talent around him.
I don't think they should be in the playoff. They may get in there, but no, I just I don't think defensively they show anything that can stop anybody. I don't really like. I think their strongest point is their passing game and the way they coordinate their passing game. Hyatt's a good receiver. He was actually from right outside Columbia, South Carolina. He was in, the Gamecocks' backyard, and they didn't even offer him a scholarship.
Right.
So, that's another conversation for how South Carolina screws everything up in recruiting and football-wise. But, yeah, their strongest point is Josh Heupel. Yeah. That's their strongest point. If Heupel's out there, they've probably got 3 losses this year.
Yeah, but coaching is such an important part of college football that, it makes a world of difference.
Yep, it does. Yeah, it does. It's the most important thing, if not the most important thing. But
my underdog. Well, I don't even know if you can call him an underdog, but the team that I like right now, if I had to put and I have put money down on them, is the Michigan Wolverines. That's the team that I think is going to surprise a few people. I don't know why they are sitting behind Ohio State right now in the rankings. I think they're going to go to Ohio State next week. I think they're going to beat Ohio State next week, and then the championship game in the Big Ten is just a joke anyway. Whoever wins Michigan, Ohio State's winning the Big Ten championship.
More than likely.
But I think they're going to end up being the 2 seed behind Georgia, and I think they're going to surprise a few people. And I think Michigan. I think they have a very good chance of winning the whole thing this year.
The thing about Michigan is they're a very experienced team. I don't know if they can stretch the field if they need to again. We might see a little bit of what we've seen last year with more experience, which means something. You got a lot of guys that returned that were there last year.
Yeah.
So experience means a whole lot.
It means a whole lot this time of year. That's
they're
for sure.
They're going to have to play a game where they're going to need to control the clock and make 7-minute drives, 5 to 7-minute drives.
But that's what they've been doing all year, and they've been doing it quite successfully.
Yeah.
More so in the second half than the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, Michigan is 100% a second half team this year.
Absolutely.
They've allowed a few teams to think that they got a chance at halftime,
Yeah.
and then they come on the second half and just say, no, you really don't.
Yeah. At Rutgers, I think was a.
At Rutgers
Yep.
is a very good example. Yeah, Indiana being another one.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I really like Michigan. I am not on board with the Ohio State Buckeyes. I just don't think that they have. I just don't think they have all the pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah, their best receiver's been hurt most of the year.
That's true. Jackson Smith Jibby.
In Jigba.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to say that
We got
wrong every time.
My Clemson Tigers got a quarterback like DJ
Oh, my God.
Uiagalelei, which that's another topic. But I'm done with DJ.
I would actually like to have a conversation with you about him because I am not a DJ fan.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I just don't think Ohio State has what it takes this year to get it done. I think they're going to lose next week, and I do think that they're, even with the loss next week, they squeeze into the playoffs in the number 4 spot. I just don't think there's too many people that love them and vote for them, and they'll get a spot at the end of the day.
Does Michigan get a spot if they lose?
I don't think they do, to be honest with you. I think they have to win next week to get a spot in the top 4.
Those 12 people in that room the committee does not like Michigan.
No, and is that a Jim Harbaugh or is that a Michigan thing?
Because
I agree with you.
They say it's their schedule, which if you look at the strength of schedule rankings and all that.
How is that different than Ohio State's?
It's lower than Ohio State's.
They play the same people.
They didn't play Notre Dame, did they? Michigan played Notre Dame this year?
Notre Dame, come on.
I know. I'm just saying, their committee's putting a lot of stock in that for some reason.
Yeah, well, Notre
Dame's quarterback, they picked him out of, some junior high school in Indiana somewhere. The kid's awful. The only reason they beat us is because they had 2 pick sixes, basically, and a block kick for a touchdown.
Yeah, right.
21-0.
Right.
I don't care who DJ Uiagalelei's playing. You put him down 21-0, it's over.
Yeah.
It don't matter if he's playing Middle Tennessee.
Right.
But that's the only reason we lose to Notre Dame. Yeah.
Right.
That's the only reason we lose to Notre Dame is because of that. But, yeah, they're putting a lot of stock in, they're putting not a lot of stock in Michigan's schedule. So that's going to hurt them if they lose. But, yeah, it's going to be a great game between Michigan and Ohio State, man. This is what college football is about.
So let's assume Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State all get in. Who's our 4th team? You already mentioned Tennessee. You don't think gets in or shouldn't get in. Who do you think's that 4th team?
We're forgetting about TCU.
TCU's got themselves a battle today against Baylor.
They can't keep them out if they go undefeated.
No, they got to beat Baylor today. They're a small favorite on the road by 2.5. I left that game alone today myself. I know TCU's not been loved by the general public, both in Vegas and also by the committee so far. So they got to keep winning to prove themselves.
Yeah, they covered a game at West Virginia this year. Did you happen to see that?
I did not.
Oh gosh, so they're up 3.
Yeah,
and they got the ball on like West Virginia's 25, I think. So they're in field goal range. They're up 3 with like 25 seconds left.
Right.
But it's 3rd down, and West Virginia has a timeout left.
Right.
They come out on like 3rd and 1-2, something like that, and they throw a touchdown pass to cover -7.
No.
They're up 3, and they cover -7 on a touchdown pass when they're basically trying to kick a field goal and run the clock out.
Now, those are usually the games where I'm on the other team and I lose those types of games. those
you
drive
got West
me
Virginia +7 there. Huh?
Yeah, exactly. It's like why are you throwing the ball? You're killing me here.
Yeah, but TCU covered that one, but somehow, by the graces of the college football gods.
It sounds like you were on TCU that day.
No, I actually wasn't on either one.
Okay.
One of the few ones I probably left alone. But they got Baylor, and then Iowa State next week, and then the Big 12 championship game against probably Kansas State. That's going to be in Arlington, which is a de facto home game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, TCU, they're sitting right there with Max Duggan. He's playing very well. 95% of the schools in the country would take Max Duggan as their quarterback. But we can't leave out TCU if they go undefeated, obviously. I just want some chaos. I think chaos is always fun, Mike.
Yeah.
It's always fun. So we need
chaos
LSU to beat Georgia in the SEC championship game is what we need.
I think the only thing that happens if LSU does pull off that upset, and I'm with you, I think they do have a chance to pull off that upset, but I think the only thing that happens is it gets LSU into the playoffs, and like you said before, it does not knock Georgia out. I don't think Georgia can be any lower than 2.
if they put
Three
that
at the
LSU
three at the
team,
very lowest.
if they put that LSU team in the playoff, oh God,
I,
that'll be
how
the
do you,
worst decision they've made in a
how do you keep
ever,
LSU
probably.
off and out of the playoffs if you beat Alabama and then you beat Georgia, the defending national champs, and in the championship game? How do you keep LSU out?
They've got 2 losses. I know one of them's in September. I don't care if it's in July.
Yeah,
and they lost to a Florida State team that they should beat.
And they lost by 1 point. They lost by 1 point in the first game of the year.
They missed an extra point to tie the game.
Well,
That's how they lost.
I get that. But I still don't think I would rather have the teams that are playing the best in October, November get into the playoffs versus a team that lost by 1 point because an 18-year-old kid missed an extra point in September. I'd rather have that team in the playoffs. So if you can beat Georgia again,
Mizzou had Georgia beat. I mean,
yeah, but they didn't get it done. Their 18-year-old kid couldn't kick that day either.
Yeah, there was a handful of things in that game.
The Missouri kickers had a few problems this year.
Yeah, they had
Auburn being another game that gave away.
Mizzou had a scoop and score at the end of the half in that game.
Yeah.
And they got tackled at the 1 yard line.
Oh.
And did punch the ball in.
That was incredible. That was absolutely incredible.
That was classic Mizzou this year. I think Mizzou's turning the corner, though.
I do. I like what Missouri's done this year. And, I was on with Ryan at the beginning of the year, and we were talking about Brady Cook, the quarterback. He was not a Brady Cook guy. I was. I liked what Brady Cook did early in the year, and truthfully, I think he's progressed as the year has gone on.
I think so, too.
I think he's gonna, be ready to take a step forward next year, and hopefully they win a number of these games that they gave away this year, and can maybe pull off 7 or 8 wins.
I was a Brady Cook fan against Army in the bowl game.
Yeah,
I thought he was gonna. I said, hey, next year's coming for these guys. This is going to be an interesting year. You always, when you're building a program, you always have those years where you look back and you say, this was the year we started to turn the corner.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, 2010, 10 or 11, when Cam Newton won the national championship with Auburn, it was 10 or 11, one of those years.
Yeah.
Clemson finished 6-7. How hard is that to think of?
Yeah, so you saw the Clemson coming.
Yeah.
No,
we finished 6-7. We lose all 7 games by 7 points or less.
Wow.
We took Cam Newton and Auburn on the road to an overtime and lose in overtime to the national champions, the only team to take them to overtime that year. So this is one of those years where, they're going to look back and say, we gave away 4 games this year. Flat gave them away probably.
Right.
But we started to turn the corner, and next year, you're going to build on what you've done this year. And you get belief within the program, and there's a lot to be said about belief
100%.
within a fan base, within players,
yeah.
Within a community. So this could be the year for Mizzou that they turn in the corner. We'll see what happens next year.
Well, hopefully a lot of the local kids, high school kids, that are making decisions as far as where they're going to play and so forth in the coming future. Hopefully some of these kids say, you know what, Missouri is an up-and-coming team, and they decide to stay at home and choose Missouri.
Yeah, the thing I like about Eli is he's recruiting St. Louis, Kansas City. He's keeping the kids in state.
And that's what he needs to do. If he's going to build the Missouri program, he's got to start capturing those 4 and 5 stars that are right here under his watch.
Yeah, there was a time when, I'll say 10, 12 years ago when, Alabama and Georgia and, Florida State, and, they'd come into South Carolina and pluck out our 4 and 5 stars.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Right.
So,
exactly.
Right. Yeah. So you got to recruit your state. So, I think they're turning the corner, but to the playoff, I think TCU goes undefeated. LSU wins the SEC championship game. That's going to throw a wrench in everything.
So, all right. So right here, give me your 1 through 4 after the season's over. Who's 1, 2, 3, 4?
That's what I was going to ask.
1, 2, 3, 4. I don't see Georgia losing. I'd like it.
Okay.
I just don't see LSU beating Georgia.
Okay.
Let's go with Michigan.
I talked you onto the Michigan bandwagon.
I think it's a close game. I think next week's going to be a close game. They've got a game against Illinois.
Don't let
today.
me down, Wolverines.
They do have a game against Illinois. Is Illinois getting that running back? Have you heard?
Yeah, he's supposed to play today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're getting Chase Brown back.
Chase Brown's playing today.
Yeah, they're getting Chase Brown back, so they got to beat Illinois today.
Yeah.
So that
17.5-point dogs.
Yeah, Illinois is going to be hungry today.
Yeah.
So that's a game they can't look past. But if they take care of Illinois, this Ohio State game next week is going to be
on a side note on that Illinois-Michigan game, seems we do talk a little sports betting from time to time on the show. I like Illinois in the first half to cover the first half number, plus the 10, and then look to turn it around and take Michigan in the second half. The line should probably be somewhere around minus 9.5, minus 10 Michigan second half. But if that halftime comes in at right around 14-14, somewhere in that range, 14-10 Michigan, look to take Michigan in the cover. Now, if Michigan blows them out in the first half and they're up 24-3, don't take Michigan second half. But if it's a close game and if Illinois covers that first half, then look to turn around and take Michigan in the second half.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm thinking Illinois first half. I'm just going to take the 17.5. I'm just going to take the points. Yeah. I think Illinois is going to want to slow this game down. So that's going to, I think, keep the possessions Michigan has limited. So Illinois better be snapping that ball with 6, 7, 8 seconds on the play clock at the most.
I think one thing that's going to help Illinois, too, is a little motivation this week is Brett Bielema's mom passed away. Anybody who knows Brett Bielema from his Wisconsin days and so forth and beyond, very close to his mother. So it was a really sad time this week when his mom passed away. The players at Illinois absolutely love Brett Bielema, and they're going to come out fighting hard right out of the gate today for their coach. And so little underneath motivation on the Illinois side.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, those players are obviously bought into what he's wanting them to do.
Exactly.
They ran the table after that first loss. So
yep.
I've been Illinois fan all year. Illinois, I've been a Kansas fan all year. I like their team total over 2.5.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, it was a steal.
How easy was that?
We had it done at the third game. It was beautiful. I loved it. That Daniels kid is playing really well for Kansas. Man.
I think we put about maybe 20 minutes of show into Kansas for the first 4 weeks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I watched that first game. I said, "Wow,
the
Jayhawks are here, fellas."
Yeah, they've had a hell of a year.
Here's John. The Jayhawks are here, and not in basketball.
Yeah, and not in basketball. Exactly. Lawrence, Kansas has some football to watch, fellas.
So who's
they're building a new stadium. Unbelievable, David.
Yeah, the Jayhawks are coming, man.
Are they building a new stadium?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't even know that.
Stadium.
I told you we spent about 20 minutes of show.
It's amazing what beating your team total over will do.
I learned a lot about the Kansas Jayhawks football program. I didn't even know they had one.
Yeah.
Either did the people of Kansas.
I know, right?
Neither did the people of Kansas.
I mean, Clemson's a wealth of knowledge. Hey, but before we go any further, I had to step away because I had a little lump in my throat. You got these. Come on, you got to sell them to everybody. Come on.
Okay.
What do you got there, John?
He's been. I've got these fisherman's friends lozenges. So, it's like opening. It's like Vicks Vapor Rub.
Opens you up.
Yeah. So if you guys can see these, I found them in Alaska of all places.
How did you put it to me?
Oh, these things will open you up like you never have been before, David. I mean, it's like, just Vicks Vapor Rub right in your mouth.
What about those of us who don't want to be opened up?
Yeah. I mean, it's just incredible. I love these things, man. So if you've got a cough or, you've got a little congestion, get you some fisherman's friends. They'll do the job.
They'll be our new sponsor by next week. Opens you wide up.
Yeah. Best things I've ever had.
I think they got that on the package.
Yeah. Is it on the package?
No, it's not.
No, it's just,
I believe it. I mean, John could be a
mental cough suppressant, oral anesthetic.
Mental cough suppressant.
They're simple. That's what I like. Little package. They just do the job. Yeah. They just do the job. It doesn't take long either.
Yeah.
You get them in and.
All right. We probably need to stop this.
Yeah, we may have strayed off course a little bit.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Doing good.
Little gambling talk.
Doing a gambling show. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you're on it right now.
Yeah.
You're on it right now. You're on it right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the first game is the 10 a.m. game. You got 12 minutes. Yep. The Naval Midshipmen, the Navy Academy, taking on Central Florida.
He's got the NFL sheet, right?
Well, you're missing out. You got 12 minutes.
All right, so we're on a sports talking show. Who's your lock of the week this week in the NFL? Lock of the week.
Who's your pick?
Lock of the week. One pick. Come on, you can be famous here.
The Jets.
The Jets. The Jets. Jets.
Likes the Jets.
Yeah, they're no longer a laughing stock this
plus
year.
the 3.5. You got 3.5, right? With the Jets.
All right.
All right.
We'll have some action.
I'll be watching that game tomorrow. All right, good luck to you.
Good luck.
All right, right on.
Pittsburgh, the crowd saying Pittsburgh. So, who's Pittsburgh playing?
You should know.
Duke. Yeah, 7.5 is the line. I knew. Yeah. So Duke plus 7.5 or Pitt minus 7.5. You like Pitt minus the 7.5? Okay. All right, that's a
and
lot
there
of
it
points
is.
to lay
And there it is, right?
Duke's playing pretty good.
I like it. I like the input.
When you come out here to DraftKings, everybody's willing to tell you their picks and who they like.
Yeah, the key is I'll tell anybody. Anybody can come on. They show me. I'm getting showed 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teamers.
Yeah.
You got to have me on. I said, come on. When you hit that sucker, you're on. I want to know how you hit a 10-teamer, right?
Yeah, we
right.
got the first one.
Me too.
We got the first one here today, fellas. So we're going over 50 Navy and UCF. So we'll see what we can do with this little ticket here. Just a straight bet.
Wait, it's coming on. How long we have?
We got 10 minutes now. Yeah.
Do you
it's
need
a 10 a.m.
Do you need to make a wager before we continue?
No, I've got mine in.
You're going to leave the Navy UCF alone. Okay.
I'm leaving that. I'm rooting for you though.
I had to do it in honor of a 10 a.m. football game. Central time,
So, John, I'm going to tell this story. This is just the truth of how you got to get your wager in before the show, right? You got to get your wagers in before the show.
Yeah.
You were coming down here one day, and I'm like, okay, it's time for you to come on, right? And John he passed right in front of me and headed to the kiosk before he came on.
Yeah. You got to.
I said, where were you? He goes, I got to get my 11 o'clock bets.
Yeah.
Some things are more important than a little show like this.
Noah and I just looked at each other and like, did that just really happen?
Yeah, you got to, man.
College.
We got a lot of action today in general. We got college basketball, college football.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of college basketball.
With college basketball, we got everything going right now except baseball. I mean, it is a sports gambler's dream right now.
It's a great time of year.
Yeah.
Great time of year.
Speaking of college basketball, SLU's playing good.
They are playing amazing.
SLU is playing phenomenal, guys.
Yeah.
They're scoring 80, 90 points a game so far. I like them today against Maryland, -3. I think they're going on the road too, Maryland.
What time is that game at?
I think it's a noon game. Yeah, it's a noon game. I'm pretty
We got
sure.
plenty of time to get our.
I'll tell you that. It says an awful lot about the SLU program if they're going on the road to Maryland and they're favored by 3.
Yeah.
Whether or not they cover or not, that just says a lot about the program.
They embarrassed Memphis. I mean, straight embarrassed Memphis. Memphis was never in that game.
Yeah.
Well, they were till they were only down 3 with 40 seconds to go.
Yeah, but that game.
They
were never. I don't know if Michigan.
They were in it.
Ever
They
led.
were in it with. They're up by Mizzou, or not Mizzou. SLU's up by 12 with like 3 minutes to go or whatever it was, and then here you could see the deterioration, and then they held on, but you can't say they were never in the game. It was a 3-point game with 45 seconds to
go. What was the spread on that game?
Yeah, it was small spread.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, Memphis was favored by 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Small spread.
Yeah. But that was a good game.
Well, you're feeling pretty good though if you got 3 points in your pocket.
Yeah, well, if you're a gambler, but if you're just a fan of SLU and you want to win,
well,
right? We only care about the spread.
I mean, truthfully, I only care if I win the ticket.
I know.
If my team loses, and we all know the Packers are my team,
we're going to talk about that here in a little bit.
If they lose, but I cash a ticket, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't care.
I'll be honest with you. This week, Thursday night, Tennessee. I had a Tennessee money line ticket in my pocket.
I don't know how they went off at 6-point dogs.
So no, this week they were 3 points.
Is that what it was?
It was 3. Yeah. 3. So
maybe it was the previous week they were 6.
Yeah, I had Tennessee plus 150 on the money line. So,
yeah.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't imagine.
How do you bet
I
against your
couldn't imagine
Packers?
betting against Clemson.
I cashed the ticket.
I know, I get it.
I mean, here we are going to talk about your
I cashed
Packers,
the
and you
ticket.
bet a money
Oh.
line. I could see taking the points.
No,
Try to win both.
I didn't see how Green Bay should have even been a favorite in that game.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I didn't
So
understand it.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't think they could stop Derrick Henry, which they actually did quite well.
Yeah, both running backs went under the total.
But because they stopped Derrick Henry, that they kind of forgot to cover wide receivers, as they had Tennessee had wide receivers running open all over that field that game. So I mean, when Tannehill throws for 300 yards, yeah, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, listen.
Especially on the road.
Hey, but Derrick Henry only got 80 yards. Congratulations.
That's
He
amazing.
said Tannehill throw for 300.
You kept Derrick Henry to 80 yards.
What was the final in that game? I didn't get a chance to watch it.
27-17.
Really?
Yeah, it was a
Was
10-point
Tennessee
game.
was Tennessee in control the whole time?
For the most part, I would say yes.
Yeah.
So
Is that hard to watch for you? Seriously, as a fan?
well,
You had a bet on Tennessee, so you were happy about it, but
no, I mean, I'm still rooting for Green Bay. I mean, it's really weird when I do bet against the Packers. I still have a hard time not rooting for my team. If I lose the bet, so be it. But my heart still lies in Green Bay because I knew that if Green Bay could win that game at 5-6, they actually still had a chance to possibly make the playoffs. At 4-7, they've got no chance.
Okay.
I mean, they're done.
Tom Brady, Tampa Bay, 3-5 a couple weeks ago. Now they're 5-5.
Yeah.
An incredible drive to end the Rams game.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, I don't know about it. Oh, okay.
Oh, that was
They should have never been
42
there.
seconds with no timeout.
Yeah,
No, I'm with John. That was a heck of a
incredible
drive.
He was plus 480 starting that drive at the live bet.
Is that right?
Everybody went on it. Yeah, plus 480. Let's get it. Yeah. And they cashed that sucker.
Plus 480 for a Tom Brady
heart-
last game-winning drive.
I didn't have the heart to do it. I said no timeouts. He hadn't done this all year. I can't put my money on it. But yeah, these guys in there were all over Tom Brady, and they were happy when he hit that tight end off the pylon.
It's also the first time all year that that's the healthiest he's had his wide receiver group. His core wide receivers were healthy in that game for the
They
most
looked
part.
terrible the entire game.
So Tampa Bay.
Yeah, they looked terrible.
Yeah, and that's expected though. I mean, the Rams play games like that.
Yeah,
they don't play any shootout games, and they like to, make teams look terrible. They really do.
Well, it's not like the Rams don't have
defense.
Yeah, I mean the Rams on defense are still pretty solid.
Yeah, the Rams defensive solid.
It's their offenses that's really struggling this year.
As good as their defense is, the Rams, their offense is that bad.
Yeah. And now that Cooper Kupp's out for the rest of the year,
He's out for the year.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford's banged up.
Yeah.
They said something about they don't even know who his backup is. But
John Wolford.
Well, they don't know if he's going to start either.
Oh.
They're hoping Stafford can go.
Yeah.
There might be some more updates this morning on it, but yesterday they were hoping he could go. But it's just been a mess for the Rams. They went all in on the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl last year. So I guess anybody will trade that for a.
We can take a break.
I would
here
trade
about
that.
10 minutes for
Would you trade a Clemson championship game for 3 or 4 bad years?
Well, yeah, college football's so different.
Or would you rather win 9 or 10 games, or I should say 10 or 11 games? Would you rather win 10 or 11 games year in and year out, go to a nice bowl and win that bowl, or would you rather win a championship and then have 3 or 4 bad years?
College football is so different, though. Like, I just want to see I want to see the team play as good as they can. If that's
if that includes a loss, you're good.
If that's
you're okay with that.
15-0, or if that's 8-7, or 7-7, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it as long as we're playing as good as we can.
Yeah.
So you just want to have belief in the program that you're, getting there eventually. That's what you want to see. I think people make it too much about the playoff and too much about national championships and stuff like that. And I hate to see that, but that's the direction we're going. But, I would trade. I'd trade a great year for. But the thing is, you shouldn't have to though. If college football standards, if your program's moving in the right direction, you're going to improve and be as good as you can be every year. There's so many different variances in pro versus college that, but if I had a professional team, I used to follow the Buccaneers back in the day when they had that defense with Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, John Lynch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I used to follow those guys. I was a big Warwick Dunn fan growing up. I got to meet him when I was a kid and stuff like that.
You were a big Trent Dilfer guy then.
No, I wasn't a big Trent Dilfer guy.
I don't think anybody's a big Trent Dilfer
He didn't play for the Bucs, did he?
I'm a Ravens fan.
I think Trent Dilfer is the one who won them their championship.
No. You're off base here.
No. Brad Johnson.
Oh, Brad Johnson. That's right. My bad.
Brad Johnson was the highest rated passer in the NFC that year. Not
No,
Michael Vick, not Donovan McNabb.
wow.
Yeah. Brad Johnson,
Brad
highest
Johnson.
rated passer.
Man, I
NFC.
forgot about that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now Dilfer was with
He
the
had a-
Ravens.
Different
That's
with Ravens.
oh, that's
You're thinking
right.
the other
That's right.
team that
Yeah.
just kind of threw
That had the
in
defense.
a
Yeah.
fill-in quarterback would have won anything.
That's
with that
exactly
defense.
what I'm thinking of. You
But
are correct.
the Bucs actually had that defense for years, and they couldn't get past Philly. They go to Veterans Stadium and lose that Philly game, and then they got Brad Johnson and John Gruden, and then Brad Johnson went to Philly and he shut the Vet down. That was the last sporting event in Veterans Stadium history. Was that
right?
loss to the Buccaneers?
Is that right?
Yep. They shut down the Vet. I remember Keyshawn Johnson was
That's
walking off
a good
camera saying,
trivia
"Shut
question.
down the Vet."
Yeah, with
Right?
last game. Right.
Yeah. That's a good trivia question.
Shut down the Vet. So, yeah, I guess as a professional viewpoint, I would trade a Super Bowl in a great year for the next year we just kind of miss and maybe finish 8-8 or 8-9 now or whatever it is.
Well, I think
I would trade that.
that's what the Rams did last year by trading those draft picks for getting Von Miller in there, getting OBJ in there, doing some of the things that they did last year, and the Jalen Ramsey trade. They're still paying for that. So yeah, the Rams basically did make the big trade or the big sacrifice and the future for that one championship. So they're kind of lucky that the refs helped them win that championship last year against Cincinnati.
Against Cincinnati, yeah.
I'm still on the wagon that those refs helped them out a little bit.
Yeah.
No flags the entire game. Then all of a sudden, 3 of them in the last 2 minutes. Come on.
Yeah. That was awful fishy.
Yeah. All right, well, listen, we're going to take a break in about 7 minutes, but I want to talk about your Green Bay Packers. I want to get into it. I had mentioned to you yesterday, we talked a little bit about it. I'm thinking part of the problem could be Aaron Rodgers. What are your thoughts?
I think Aaron Rodgers is definitely part of the problem. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers definitely wants to help the young guys out as far as growing and developing. If he did, he's going to be there in the offseason. He's going to be there, he's not going to show up just when training camp starts. He's going to be there in the offseason, help throwing the ball to the offseason, creating that chemistry. He didn't do that this year. He hasn't done it for the last few years. He feels like he doesn't need to do it. And in the last few years, when you've got an experienced group of wide receivers with Devontae Adams leading the charge, he could get away with that. But this was an important year. You had a lot of youth coming in, and there's a big switch off. And Aaron Rodgers just chose to stay at home and do his thing. And it's taken a long time. And I don't know if he has the chemistry with these guys yet. He's showing a little chemistry now with Christian Watson, but
yeah, that kid's good.
Christian Watson's got talent. There's no doubt about it. Everybody knows the kid's got talent. There's one question mark coming out of Notre Dame State or North Dakota State was whether or not he could catch the ball and how good his hands were. Well, he proved that on the very first play of the season that his hands are questionable as he dropped an easy 75-yard touchdown pass that Rodgers might been his best throw of the year to date still. But yeah, I think there's some question mark. Does Rodgers, is his heart into it? Does he really want to be there? I do think there's some questions about that.
You think it stems from the whole Jordan Love situation?
No, I think that's over. I mean, that's past and that's beyond. Even as
the draft pick, you don't think he's upset about the draft picks?
Well, he was at the time. There's no doubt about it. But I do think he's over it. He's past it. I think him and the rest of the team, I think they really did think they could come into the year and win the Super Bowl. I was on this show with you early in the year, and I'm pretty sure that if you go back and look at the records, I said Green Bay would have a top 3, top 5 defense. Okay. Well, let's face it, that defense is not it's not top anything.
Right.
So and now they've got a lot
at
of
the top of the bottom.
That is correct.
That's about where I put it.
If you're upside down,
John's got a line for everything. Yeah.
So that defense just never came to play this year. The offense has taken a long time to really get going. I think there's a lot of issues on the coaching. One thing that doesn't get talked about with the Green Bay coaching and offense and so forth is we lost a lot of offensive coaching talent. Our OC is now the head coach of Denver. He took one of the top guys with him out there. Luke Getsky, who was the quarterback coach last year, he is now the Chicago Bears offensive coordinator, doing pretty well down there as the offense
in Denver isn't doing very well.
No, the offense in Denver is not. Yeah. But I'll tell you, there's the continuity that you have. Last year, the Green Bay offensive line was decimated with injuries throughout the whole course of the year. And our offensive line last year played about as well as you could possibly expect, and was one of the top units on the team. This year, everybody's back and healthy. Where our offensive line coach is now the OC, so he's not with the offensive line every day, and the coaching, I just don't know if it's really completely there. They've struggled on the O line. It just they got problems everywhere right now.
You
So
like LaFleur?
I think LaFleur. Such a simple question.
Yeah.
I can't even answer it. I mean, the guy only lost what 3 games a year for the last few years, 10 games altogether in his first 3 years. You thought that the guy was a magic man as far as with what he was doing with the team, but no, I just don't think I'm a LaFleur guy. He's done too many things. We could go back to the Tampa Bay NFC Championship game a few years ago when he decided to kick a field goal instead of going for it on 4th down. There's just too many things over the course of time that LaFleur just has not stepped up to the game. I still think he struggles with on-fly transition. Like halftime adjustments. Teams coming out and they're stopping this, and then we got to switch over and do that instead. I just don't think he. I just don't think he's on top of the game when it comes to those types of things. And yeah, maybe LaFleur, Gutekunst, the GM, Aaron Rodgers. Maybe we just need a clean sweep at the end of the year and start over. And I
So
don't know.
what do you got to pay Rodgers if you're done with him?
Aaron Rodgers he's technically signed a 3-year contract at the beginning of the year, but realistically it's a year-to-year contract. Aaron Rodgers gets to decide at the end of every year whether or not he wants to come back for the next one, at about $50 million per. So
Jeez,
I know.
not bad, right?
No.
$50 million per year.
$50
Yeah,
million
why
per
wouldn't
year.
he come back?
Aaron Rodgers. Here's the one thing he
I don't
wanted.
care how much you got, how much money you got. It's $50 million.
$50 million is a lot of
Wow.
money. He wanted to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL this year, which he now is.
By far.
When has Tom Brady ever been the highest paid quarterback in the NFL? Never.
That's a good point. Tom Brady's taking a lot of pay cuts.
Tom Brady takes pay cuts everywhere he goes. Why does he do it? So the rest of the team can be better. So you got money to pay the wide receivers, the
It's easy to
defensive
say
linemen.
he's getting a divorce, but it's easy to say when your wife makes more than you.
Well, yeah, but
yeah.
no,
But
I think it speaks more to competitive desire in people.
And I think
Some people, if they talk about the difference. If you look at, just on a competitive desire point, you look at the talk about the greatest of all time in different sports.
Yeah.
And you always talk about LeBron and Jordan, right? Well, people that were able to watch Jordan understand that the competitive desire that he had on a night in and night out basis for 82 games versus LeBron's competitive desire, two different things.
Right.
So are we looking at a little bit of that with like an Aaron Rodgers and a Tom Brady, where Brady's going to do whatever it takes, and if you're going to be on his team, you're either going to buy in or you're going to leave, like Antonio Brown did.
But Tom Brady also realized that
Antonio Brown left.
Tom Brady also realized that the way to get his team, the 22 starters that you need, 11 on defense, 11 on offense, the most talented guys he could get around him was the easiest way to get his team to the finish line.
Yep.
Whereas Aaron Rodgers, truthfully, I think over the years, all he cares about is, hey, I'm the number one guy. Pay me like the number one guy.
Ego, little.
Big ego,
Big
I mean,
ego.
you got to have a big ego in the NFL to be a successful NFL Hall of Fame type quarterback. You have to have an ego, no doubt about it. But
there's good ego and not so good ego.
Yeah, I think that's correct, and I think Tom Brady has good ego in the fact that, hey, he knows he's the best. He doesn't need everybody to say,
exactly,
look how much money you make, look how many championships you won.
Yep.
He knows it.
And if you watch him talk to his players on the sideline, like that guy is just bought in the whole way.
Oh, for sure.
Just chewing his linemen out, chewing his receivers out. We're either going to we're either going to be all in or everybody's going to go. Like he don't put up with it.
So bad ego can be masked by good play, right? And
back-to-back MVPs
and success, right?
Yeah.
Right. And now without the success, now having that same ego, it really comes out in full force.
Yeah.
Right. And it makes you really not like the guy. Me personally.
They had a little.
I think there's a lot.
I'm not a big fan, and I never have been because of the way he approaches things. And now it goes away when you're that guy, when you are the guy, right? Now that he's not having success, I don't I mean, it really shows everybody else who kind of put it to the side, you know, how he is.
Yeah, no, I agree. I can't disagree with any
Yeah,
of
Green
that.
Bay had a little receiver I was hoping was going to work out.
Amari Rogers,
Yeah.
your boy from
I thought he was
Clemson.
going to be a little slot guy, you know? He could have been a little
All
slot
roads
guy.
lead
I
back
guess
to,
Aaron Rodgers wasn't working with him this
all
offseason,
roads
would he?
lead back to Clemson. All right,
Yeah.
guys. Hey, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get Mike's picks for the weekend. We'll be right back.
All right, thanks.
Welcome back to DraftKings at Casino Queen. My name is David Sharp, Clemson John, and Mike, you in between us. Hey, we have a new sponsor, Fisherman's Friend.
Yeah. My clear throat is brought to you by Fisherman's Friend.
Wide open.
They will get you open. They'll open you up. Yeah.
All right, Mike. Let's get right into your picks. I want to get in some action, so let's make some money. What do you got?
Well, let's start right off here at the 11 a.m. time slot. We got UConn traveling to Army. UConn, I've been on UConn right from the very beginning of the year. This is a team that me and John were just talking here in the break. 23.5-point dog first game of the year against Utah State. Only lost by 11. I've been looking at them almost every week. I've played on them most weeks. They've 7-0 in the last 7 against the spread. 3 of their last 6 games as a dog at +8 or bigger, they've won outright.
Yeah, that's big. 3 out of 6 as a dog, you went outright.
Yeah,
wow.
Fresno State, they're a 23.5-point dog. They won. Boston College as an 8-point dog. They won. And then last week against Liberty, 13.5-point dog, and win outright. So
Yeah.
What's the spread?
10.5 today. At least that's the line I got. It might be down to 10 right now. I got them at 10.5. I even dropped a little something on the money line at +300.
I like that.
Yeah. Jim Moore Jr.'s got him rolling, man.
Jim Moore Jr.
Yeah.
That's exactly correct.
His dad was the famous playoffs. Playoffs. I just hope we can win a game. Playoffs. I don't want to talk about playoffs.
Exactly.
Yeah. So his son's at UConn now, and he's got the Huskies rolling.
Yes, he does. So that's probably my favorite pick of the day.
All right, you got something else?
Yeah, I also like Oklahoma State in the Bedlam game with Oklahoma. Oklahoma's not a good football program this year. For them to be laying 7.5 points, 7 in some spots, 7.5 in others. If you get an option, look around and try and find 7.5. But they're just not a good enough program to be laying 7.5. Sanders, the quarterback at Oklahoma State, should be back today.
Yeah, good. I said in the middle of the year he's got a chance to be, before he got hurt, had a chance to be one of the best seasons as an Oklahoma State quarterback ever.
Yeah. So he's back. They play harder for Sanders. That's just a fact.
Yep.
They play harder for him. He's going to be the difference maker, I think, today. Again, another game I sprinkle a little bit on the money line. So take the 7.5 if you can find it. Even +7 is a good number. You know me, I love my dogs.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for dogs where I can. And those are my 2 big plays of the day. So
yeah,
I got a few leans on a few others, but those are 2 I really like.
All right, switch over to the NFL.
NFL.
You need a sheet?
No, I don't need a sheet. Thanks, I appreciate it. So
he's still recovering after his Packers wounds.
He won. He cashed his ticket.
Yeah, I did cash
it.
Yeah,
but Mike would rather have a playoff and an NFC championship game than that ticket cash.
That's 100% true.
All right.
That is 100% true. So
I'll take the money.
A couple things that I've been betting a lot on the last few weeks in the NFL. One is the Philadelphia Eagles have been going over the number in the first half, 8-0-1 on the year.
Wow.
So
their own total for first half.
No, it's a overall total.
Okay.
Oh, game total.
The game total over in the first half. Eagles are 8-1 on the year.
Wow.
And
is it 23 for this for tomorrow?
I got 22.5.
22.5.
Yeah, but you can even get alternate lines in here too.
Yeah, that's 100% right. Yeah, DraftKings gives you a chance to do alternate lines. So, and
thank you, Russell.
But yeah, so I bet that one every week. That's just one of my standards. Also, the Eagles usually in the first half, that's also a good play. They've only lost twice in the first half as a whole. So that's also a nice little play. The Chicago Bears have been surprising the heck out of me. We talked about it a little bit before. Luke Getsy, the offensive coordinator down with the Chicago Bears, he has figured out how to get the most out of Justin Fields, and that means running the football with Justin Fields.
Yep.
Justin Fields is covering easily prop bets. Look at him on the over. Last week it was 59.5. This week it started at 69.5. I know it's up to 71.5.
71.5 for him to run.
For him to run.
Wow.
Yes. But he's been getting 130, 140 yards the last number of weeks.
That's still a lot for a quarterback.
Also look at the rushing attempts if you can. So that's also another good prop bet for Justin Fields. I bet the Bears on the money line, though, this week. I bet the Bears on the money line. I also bet the Bears on the team total over. I want to say I got 22.5, but I might have got 23.
All right, I got to ask you a question. Does a run count if he drops back to pass, doesn't find anything in runs? Does that count as a rush attempt?
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, dropping back to pass and then figuring out that your offensive line stinks and they're letting everybody through.
That's a rush attempt?
That's a rush attempt.
Okay.
Do you have to cross the line of scrimmage?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah,
so.
you'd have to cross the line of scrimmage.
If you get sacked, it's not a
It's
rush.
not a rush
It's not a
attempt,
rush attempt. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But the Bears are rolling offensively. Look at their point totals ever since that Monday night game in New England,
Yeah.
which I was all over the under in that one. And that's when the over started.
Yeah.
That's when they went crazy. But, yeah, they've scored 33, 29, 30, and 32.
yes.
33, 29, 30, 32.
Yeah, they're averaging 32 points a game in the last 4 weeks. So,
Yeah.
and Atlanta's
Against what defenses, though?
Against New
Detroit.
England, against the Dallas Cowboys, against the Dolphins and Lions. But
the Dallas Cowboys have a really good defense.
No, I know.
Yeah, they've turned Justin Fields loose, man.
New England's a solid defensive team. So
yeah, I'm just playing the other side and saying, how long is this going to last? Because I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer yet. In
well, we won't find out today because they play the Falcons. We'll find out in New York next week when they play the Jets, though.
Don't sleep on the Falcons. The Falcons are no joke this year. They've been a very good ATS team this year.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to have the linebackers to spy Justin Fields, and I don't think many people can the way that offensive coordinator's turned him loose.
Yeah,
Justin Fields is just running all over the place.
No, I totally agree. So, those are a couple of my favorite plays.
Thank you.
I don't, John. What did you think about that Minnesota Dallas line came out? Dallas is a -2 favorite on the road in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Talk about
against an 8-1 team.
Disrespect for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah. I've been talking about this the last few weeks. Minnesota's sneaky good, man. They're good. And yes,
I'll be honest
if they
with
can
you,
ever play from in front.
my first thought when I saw that line was I got to jump on Minnesota and bet a lot of money before the line turns and moves. Well, the line went down to 1 on Tuesday or Wednesday. Now it's back to 1.5.
Yeah.
Meaning that the Dallas money is coming in and keeping Dallas as a favorite.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Dak.
Somebody knows something I don't.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That game,
Excuse me.
I'm laying off that game, but I was curious to see what you thought as far as if you saw that open and what your thinking was.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's loving the defense at Dallas, and Micah Parsons the best defender in the league.
Yeah.
They're putting a lot of stock in that, obviously.
Yeah.
And they're not putting a lot of stock in that Buffalo win. They think that was just kind of you got a few bounces that went your way. But if you look at it from a Vikings perspective, you got to make the plays to get there, right?
Yeah.
How good was that catch by Justin Jefferson?
Unbelievable.
One of the best we've ever seen.
Pete was on 590 yesterday. Pete Sybil, and he said that's the best catch he's ever seen.
How does that ball stay in his hand and not hit the ground? I just have no idea. And that was on a 4th down. I mean, that's not like a first down play.
Yeah.
That's on 4th down and 17.
Yeah.
You don't catch the ball, the game's over. You lose. That was incredible. And the fact that the Minnesota Vikings came out and won that game only makes that catch that much better.
Yeah.
So
that was a lot of fun to watch. That whole game was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Down 27-10, you're like, this is boring.
Right.
This is oh, come on, Minnesota. Like, but you know what? 6 out of the last 7, 8 wins are coming from behind.
Right.
Yeah. So as I said, could you imagine what they do with the lead?
Right.
I mean, let's.
Yeah. From a Bills perspective, though, losing that game, are they relying on Josh Allen a little too much?
Right.
It seems like it's all they want to have.
Yeah.
Let's let Allen make a bunch of plays. Running backs don't do much. Let's let Allen do what he can do and not figure anything else out, I guess.
I'll tell you, one thing that looks to me will be a little bit different is when Josh Allen runs, he seems to get hit a lot at the end of his runs. But when I watch Justin Fields run, it doesn't seem to me as if he gets hit nearly as hard.
Yeah, Fields a little more athletic.
Well, and that may be
a little more shifty.
I just wonder if Josh Allen is due for a big injury by taking some of the hits that he's been taking.
That's true. Every time you see Josh Allen run, he's running straight, kind of shoulders first into a defender.
He scares me the way he runs. If I was a Buffalo Bills fan, I'd be worried the fact that he's going to get hurt one of these days.
Yeah, you'd be trying to find a backup, just need some insurance.
Well, their backup isn't horrible. Case Keenum.
Oh yeah,
I'm a Case Keenum fan.
Yeah, he's a journeyman, can get the job done.
Yeah,
he's a good backup.
Yeah,
as long as he's the backup.
Yeah, as long as he's the backup. Then.
I mean,
start for 1 or 2 games, fine, but not long term.
Yeah.
No, but he can throw.
He's done the job.
He's probably one of the better backups in the league.
That's my point, right? I mean, I wouldn't feel like they had no shot to go anywhere with him. I wouldn't like him for a long term, but
I wouldn't like him to go to Kansas City and win. That's might be what they have to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Or Kansas City probably go to Buffalo.
It led me right into my next pick.
There you go.
Kansas City Chargers.
Yeah.
So bolt on with the Chargers at +5. So
I like that too.
yeah, Kansas City. I think they're a little banged up right now. So not to say that the Chargers aren't banged up, but Chargers have their two receivers, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, both practicing this week. My guess is, from what I've heard so far on the news and so forth, is it sounds like they're both going to be ready to play tomorrow night. Kansas City's going to be missing wide receivers. Mikael Hardman went on injured reserve this week, so he's out. Juju Smith-Schuster, who's actually had a really nice year with the Kansas City Chiefs, he's out for this week's game. MVS, the guy that they got from the Green Bay Packers, hasn't made a big impact on the team, but it doesn't sound like he's playing either. So
wow.
I just think 5 points right now is a little too many to lay on the road if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, and I'll take the Chargers plus the 5.
And if you look at it, the Chargers don't get blown out against Kansas City.
Yeah.
They don't.
It's a divisional game. They always play tight.
They don't. Yeah.
So you're gonna give me 5.5 at home with all those injuries on Kansas City.
Yeah.
That's why I like it.
Yeah, and from the Chargers' perspective, if they're able to win this game, they're only a game behind Kansas City.
Right.
If they win it.
Well, the Chargers are 5-4 right now, and they're fighting for a wild card spot. So I think they're tied for the number 7 seed in the wild card right now. So the Chargers definitely need this win. And I'll take the 5 points in my back pocket. Win or lose, should probably be a 3-point game one way or the other.
Are the Chargers getting Mike Williams back?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
big get there
right
to get Mike Williams back.
And you know what? Maybe even before betting it, because I don't think the line's going to change that much between now and Sunday night, because it is the night game on Sunday.
It's a get even worse game tomorrow.
Yeah, but right.
Right, John?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But maybe even wait till 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon if you can, and double check just to make sure that Mike Williams and Keenan Allen are both playing before you put in your wager, and maybe if they're both not, lay off the game. But plus 5 if they're both playing is, to me, that's like stealing money. So.
Yeah, Justin Herbert loves Mike Williams. Just throw it up to Mike. Fade to Mike.
Yeah.
Fade to Mike. He's broke some Chiefs' hearts over the years.
Heber's looked pretty good the last week or two.
Yeah.
He seems to be coming back a little bit. So
yeah, I think he's something special. I really like him. He's not having the best year, but yeah, he's good. He's really good. I like him a lot.
Yeah. Bengals going on the road against the Steelers. Bengals are -4. They've been up and down this year, though.
Well, the
Bengals have been up into 5-4.
I'm not touching that game.
Steelers have T.J. Watt coming back. Micah Fitzpatrick is back this week also for the first time in a few weeks. So him and T.J. Watt, that defense, they gave Cincinnati a lot of troubles there week 1. So I'm with you. I'm laying away from that game and not touching it. So.
I don't want any part of it. One of the games that Ryan likes, he likes the Giants -3 against Detroit. What are your thoughts, man? I don't know. Giants are playing well. Detroit, man, when their offense is working, man. The Giants' defense is good.
Yeah, I'll tell you, both of those New York teams, both the Jets and the Giants, are surprising a lot of people and winning. You and I have some really good friends that are big Jets fans.
Yes.
Phil and Jeannie Yaley, and they love their Jets. Jets. Jets.
Did you really just do that?
I told Jeannie I would do that on air for you.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
That's for you, Gene.
I love it.
I like that. I like their coach, that hire from San Francisco. I liked him. I liked that hire when they made it, when the Jets made it. So.
Yeah, I did too. And you know who his offensive coordinator is in New York? It's Matt LaFleur's brother.
Really?
Yeah, his little brother.
Wow.
What's his name? But anyway, it's Matt LaFleur's brother. So is the OC out in the
That's
Jets.
his name, Matt LaFleur's brother.
Yeah.
That's how he goes in the Jets building.
Yeah.
But as far as the Giants, though, I do like that. I like Ryan's pick as Giants of -3. Detroit and Goff still. I mean, I know they've won a few games, including the Packers 2 weeks ago. Big surprise they won last week. Blown call, in my opinion, in the Bears Detroit game. Overturning interception in the late in the game that completely turned the entire game around. But I don't think Detroit should be. I'm surprised it's not 3.5 to 4. To be honest with you. So if he can still get the Giants at 3, love that pick.
All right, I agree with Ryan on this. I'm riding Washington. I think they're putting it together. I like Taylor Heineke back behind center. I think they play for him, right?
100%.
They play for him.
I'd buy the hook on that. Is it 3.5 or 3?
3.
3? Okay.
3.
Yeah. Make sure you get 3.
Yeah. But I I'm riding with Washington right now.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't bet this game, and I won't bet this game, but I kind of lean Houston. So
Okay.
I think this is the week Houston at home can get the job done, and I'm not as sold yet on Washington, but they're 100% playing a lot better ball with Tyler Heineke. So
Now, I don't know if you play fantasy or not, but I was talking with Pete Sipple about this off air. Could you imagine that Monday night game? Could you imagine being in first place in any daily fantasy, like
Yeah.
for DraftKings, for any kind of serious money, and then that last play of the game where they're tossing it around, and then
my
the
goodness.
defense for Washington scores that no time left touchdown and changes everything on the fantasy.
Well, don't think that there weren't a lot of people that bet Philadelphia second half money line in that game, because that completely switched that money line from Philly to Washington.
Yeah.
So if you had a second half money line bet,
how gross was that?
And you lose on something like that. So
or if you got the under.
Yeah. No, it was already over.
Yeah, I believe
it was already.
It was already over.
Well, you could have a live under.
Well, that's true. That's true.
I've always got those live over unders.
Seriously, tossing the ball around.
I personally had a bet. This was a few years ago on Northwestern Stanford, and the ended the same way in that game, and I ended up losing a bet because of that ridiculous throwing the ball around and so forth. And
there was a Clemson Florida State game last year that Florida State's trying to score at the last minute,
Yeah.
And they throw a pick. Linebacker runs it in at the buzzer to cover for Clemson.
Look at his eyes. I think he had Clemson.
I don't bet on him a lot, David.
Have you ever bet against Clemson?
No. I can't do it.
See, you bet against your
I
practice.
can't do it. I can't. My heart won't allow me.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Mm-mm.
No, I don't bet against the Packers often. I only bet on them maybe once or twice a year, and it's got to be something where it's a money line pick. Like Tennessee was the perfect storm in this week to bet against Green Bay. Probably one of the first times I bet against them all year. But it was a short number, money line, and so forth. I wouldn't just I just don't bet against Green Bay.
Who's Thanksgiving Day? What's the Thanksgiving Day?
Thanksgiving Day?
Yeah, who's playing? I know who's playing. Like I know all the. Like, Dallas is playing.
Detroit's playing.
Who's Detroit playing? They playing Green
I think
Bay?
Detroit plays Buffalo, don't they?
Coming up right now.
I think Buffalo plays. I can't remember who they play.
Yeah, I'm curious. It's a short turnaround. I keep week after week. I say the quality of Thursday night games is terrible.
Yeah.
But on Thanksgiving, it's accepted.
Because
Buffalo going to Detroit.
Yeah.
What's the spread? Did they have it lined up?
10.
10.
Yeah, I give her a 10.
He's open wide up.
Yeah. Cowboys -7 against the Giants.
I know. I can smell those vapor. Would you swallow vapor rub? I mean, wow, that's what it smells like.
They're the best. I'm telling you, best ever.
We need to send this a clip to Fisherman's Friend.
Make it happen.
Dude,
I don't know how to send it.
You would. Well.
Well,
Russell,
we'll have to leave that.
We'll have to put that together. Next thing you know, he'll be on some major network. Fisherman's Friend. It'll open you wide up.
Good chance you're not going to see them.
Yeah, I mean it's. They are the best, though. Hey, when you're congested, you eat these things, you won't be congested anymore.
What's that Giants Dallas?
Giants Cowboys is Cowboys -7.
Wow, give me the Giants +7.
It's
on
Cowboys at home, in the indoors, It's kind of
that's a big game right there. That should be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, that's always fun. Giants Cowboys always fun.
Yeah.
That's the game. I think was it last year or 2 years ago? Dak messed his leg up. He tore his leg all up.
Well, that was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
2 years ago, he tore his leg all up in that Giants Cowboys game.
I tell you, give me the Giants right now +7.
Yeah, everybody's going to be taking that.
Yeah. Hey, who's the get even worse game on Thanksgiving?
Looks like Thanksgiving night when we're eating the leftovers, and warming them up.
We eat at night.
Oh well.
Yeah, we eat in the evening.
You don't eat
even
at like noon.
No, 5
big
o'clock.
Thanksgiving deal. Really?
Yeah, 5 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm with John. We're doing the leftovers.
All right, well, I'll just be over your house first, and then I'll go to my.
There you go.
I'll
hey,
to Wisconsin. Come on up.
Hey,
you're welcome.
It's like a Clemson tailgate. You just walk up and say, "What y'all having today?" and just have a little bit.
Are
here,
you guys playing
have
on
a little
Thanksgiving
bit there,
Day?
Everywhere, huh?
Is Clemson playing on Thanksgiving
No,
Day?
you don't have rivalry games on Thanksgiving. That's on Saturday. Yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me, I apologize.
That's all right. Yeah, I know you
How
didn't
dare
know.
you not know that?
I'm just telling you.
I was a little upset with him, Mike. He didn't bring any swag back for me.
Yeah, I'm going this weekend for Thanksgiving.
But I had to ask for it. Like I was expecting a T-shirt.
I just forgot. I spent about $500 total. I got it registered. I just grab. Get to the damn register. It says $500.
Zero.
I brought you back no Packer gear either.
That's why I wouldn't wear it.
Wow. You'd wear the Clemson, but you wouldn't wear the Packer gear.
Well, I mean, I would wear the Packer stuff. I'm not elite. I mean, I'm a Ravens fan.
Oh,
yeah, he likes Terrell Suggs. Did you hear Terrell Suggs' story?
No, we can't tell.
We got 30 seconds.
No, we can't tell it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he likes Terrell Suggs.
I'm a big fan of Terrell Suggs.
Terrell Suggs is a good player.
Yeah.
Was a good player.
Yeah.
Terrell
Suggs, we can't tell the story.
But, yeah, he's a great player.
Yeah. He's a very nice man. That's all I'm going to say.
Very nice man.
Very nice man.
Yeah.
You know who I played poker with this summer was Calais Campbell.
Really?
The Ravens defensive lineman.
Yeah,
I was in Vegas for the WSOP.
Okay.
And playing in one of the events, and
he played for the Cardinals.
I got moved to a different table. And, yes, he did.
He played for the Cardinals and went to the Ravens. Yeah.
So I get moved to this table, and there's this big gentleman sitting at the end in the 2 seat, and I get there and I'm like, man, he's got to be an NFL player. But I didn't know who he was, and people are talking to him in a way that you could tell he was famous, and. So finally, somebody else who just came to that table asked him who he was, and he said he's Calais Campbell. Super nice guy. And I took him out of the tournament. I ended up beating him and busting him. Calais, I apologize for that.
Is that where that bruise is from?
Yeah. Super nice guy though. He was a ridiculously nice guy. Salt of the earth, and I wish him nothing but the best and the Ravens this year. So
did a rebuy follow?
I don't know if he rebought or not. Okay. So that was a big tournament. There's a lot of people.
Where was this at?
This was the WSOP this year. Out in
Vegas.
Oh,
wow.
So,
yeah, right on.
Yeah, out there in Bally's.
Okay. So, what? Any big poker events in your future?
In my future, I mean, I'm going to Vegas in December.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, the Win is having a big one, aren't they?
I don't know.
I think it's the
as far as for tournaments.
I think it's the Win's having a huge series.
I'll probably end up just playing cash when I'm out there.
I love playing cash.
So
95% of stuff I do is cash. I'll do tournaments, but I just hate playing for 6 hours and then the blinds eat you up, and it's like this is terrible. Right. If I play tournament, it's going to be mixed games though. Yeah. I like my mixed games.
I think Jeff Copeland might have a different way of looking at it than you.
Well, yeah, but to each his own.
Cash every time, sure. Yeah,
and cash is a better time. You can have more fun in a cash game. That's what I like too. You have more fun.
Right.
Tournaments, they like to have all these rules and stuff. I'm not a big rules guy. I like to just have fun when you play.
I'm not a big guy of playing poker for 6, 7, 8 hours at a crack either. So
I am. I'll play for 24 hours. I don't care.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah, I'll sit from a Friday to Sunday.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. First time I ever.
I can't do that.
Yeah, I was 21. First time I went to Vegas, I sat at Bellagio, same table, same seat for 37 hours.
Really?
I was walking back to the Bellagio, and I fell asleep at a crosswalk. I slipped down I'm leaning against the pole. I'm going to tell you, I'm leaning against the pole, and I slouched down. I'm so tired. I've been at the same table 37 hours. And this is right when I got off the plane. I hadn't slept in forever.
Right.
So I slouched down, and I just kind of closed my eyes. It's 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock, so it's still kind of dusky a little bit.
Yeah.
So I wake up probably 5 minutes. I was out 5-10 minutes or something. This lady comes up and hands me money. She thinks I'm, in need or I'm homeless or something.
Right.
Hands me money. And I'm like, oh.
He didn't even have to hold a sign.
Yeah. Oh, and I had a bankroll in my pocket. I had no business falling asleep at a crosswalk. But I made it back. But that's 37 hours. Same seat, same table. Didn't plan it that way. Did you take the money? Did I take the money? No, I didn't take her money, David. Oh,
I'm glad you asked. I was wondering.
Well, that's my job is to ask things that people they're thinking.
No.
All right.
But yeah, I don't care about playing a long time. Tournaments I'll do them every once in a while. 95% cash.
Do you want to stick around with us, or you got to get going?
No, I can stick.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's time for Clemson John's Picks of the Week. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Winning Ticket, everyone. We're here live, DraftKings at Casino Queen. We're having a great time. The four of us, John, Mike, David, and Fisherman's Friend. John's taking care of the Fisherman's Friend. All right, John, we got to get into your picks. We got about, 16, 17 minutes left. Let's go. Let's hit it. What do you got?
Well, the first one we're looking to cash, David. Navy UCF, guys. We had to get on the 10 a.m. game. You have to. You got a 10 a.m. college football game. I can't let that get by me.
That's a true degenerate right there.
Yeah.
I can't let it get by me.
We're not supposed to use that word.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
That's
Well,
okay.
they've already told me, but it's all right. We'll get by it.
My first
Yeah,
warning.
I know.
Yeah.
No, that's it. We're good.
Yeah. But over 50, David. We're about to be 7-7 here with the Navy UCF. They probably got it on in there on the screens.
He can't give you picks. He's got to go watch the game.
I'm going to get you your own TV. Like, if I get your own TV in front of you, then I may not be able to do the show.
My own TV in front
So you can watch the game at 10 a.m.
Oh, he's
no.
watching on his phone.
I got the ticket in. I got, we're good.
You watching the ticker?
Yeah. We're about to UCF about to punch it in.
You
we'll
got
be
the under?
7-7.
Is it the under?
No, I wouldn't take the under.
Got
In
the
this
over.
one.
What do you got?
Over 50.
Over 50
Over
for the
50.
first half?
No, the game.
I
David.
wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, you're not going to score 50 in the first half.
Now I see that. Is that alternative?
Yeah.
What was
it was
the line?
52.5.
52.5. Okay.
Brought it down. Yeah. So
Gotcha.
we'll take over 50.
And what's the
Navy
score?
UCF
7-7?
Will you bet a lot of alternatives? Will you change the lines quite often?
Well, yeah.
That's how I hit a five-teamer earlier this year.
Minus 150 is about the most I want to pay. I really want to pay 130 or something like that. But I figured I'd start. I felt really safe with this one.
All right,
Just buy it down.
we have a message for you.
Yep.
I've been asked for you to give out a three-teamer. Let's see. Okay, here's this. He wants a three-teamer, no hook buy. Don't buy a hook. Just a flat number because he has no way to buy the hook.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
wherever state he's gambling in,
Yeah.
he can't buy the hook.
Okay.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah. They haven't passed those
We all
laws.
know what that means. Oh, that's
But
funny.
yeah.
All right, come on.
We had some 10 a.m. action. We can't let that get by us.
All right, lay it on
That's
us. Come on.
exciting, David. We hadn't had a 10 a.m. game all year.
We had
Well,
a
that's
4 a.m.
exciting.
basketball game, though.
Yeah, we had a 4 a.m. basketball game.
What the heck?
Yeah, I
Who's
just tell you
playing
that.
at 4 a.m.?
Ireland.
Oh, Ireland.
No,
Okay.
Ireland's not playing. They had a college basketball tournament.
Oh,
over
yeah,
there,
yeah.
14 tournament.
Yeah, I
The
got it.
Ryder Broncos were playing Stetson.
Oh,
So,
yeah, well.
The Broncos.
I never miss a good Ryder Stetson matchup.
Yeah, the Broncos of Ryder, man. We're playing Stetson.
Oh, man.
Ryder. They played again this morning at 4 a.m.,
Oh.
but they played Central Arkansas. Yeah. So I didn't take them
That
today.
was my response.
I did
Yeah.
take Ryder on Friday morning, but
Did they cover?
no, they got crushed, man.
Stetson came
And
through.
I thought, I was tailing somebody, Mike. I was tailing somebody else's pick, okay? And I said to myself before the game, before I looked at his pick, I said, I like Stetson. Stetson beat Florida State.
Yeah.
Florida State's a dumpster fire this year, by the way. They're 0-4. But anyway, Stetson beating Florida State got my attention. So I'm like, I'm going to roll with the points and take the 4 points,
Right.
Stetson. And I go look at this guy's show, and he's on Stetson, and I'm like, or he's on Ryder, and I'm like, oh gosh. And then somebody else said Ryder, and I'm like, all right, you guys got me.
Yeah.
And then Ryder gets blown out by like 15 or something. Oh, I
the
was
only
just
thing I know about
disgusted.
Ryder is like a truck rental place.
It is a trucking company. But
You didn't know they had a basketball program, did you?
Yeah.
Obviously,
kinda
not,
like
not a very good
It's kind of like the Kansas football program.
Right.
You didn't even know it existed.
I do now.
They're those small schools. There's 300-something college basketball teams. Lindenwood's Division I now.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
The Lindenwood.
They played somebody
Lions.
big the other day.
Mizzou.
Mizzou, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, did you see that cover?
No, I didn't.
Oh, goodness. So
I'll be honest with you. I
Mizzou-
don't watch any
I'm gonna-
college
I'm gonna
basketball
tell you.
until the football season's
that's okay.
over.
I'm going to tell you. So Mizzou is 28.5-point favorites, right?
Okay.
And Mizzou puts all the backups in. They're up 26, right? There's 30 seconds left, right? They're dribbling the clock out.
Right.
This walk-on who never plays for Mizzou,
Sure.
he's dribbling it out. There's 5 seconds left. He decides he wants to launch it up from about 40 feet in front of half court. Swish.
Oh, man.
All the players like, oh, the walk-on got one.
Right.
Well, that moved it from 26 to 29.
Yeah.
So if you had Lindenwood plus 28.5, you were sick.
I don't think
He
there's a lot of
throws
people
up
that
a-
had Lindenwood plus 28.5, though.
Hey, there's a
I
lot
bet
of
you there's more people
know.
on Missouri that game than there were on
Yeah,
Lindenwood.
there was probably Mizzou minus 28.5 probably.
Probably
Yeah.
a lot more people there.
Yeah, probably. So you were happy or sad, but they covered by
Right.
walk-on, hitting a half-court shot while he's dribbling the clock out. Oh, that was
Hey, just curious. Did you bet the game?
No,
Oh.
I didn't bet that one. I have yet to bet Lindenwood this year, but I'm anxious to do it. I'm anxious to
Are
do
you
it.
sure we can't use that T word?
Lindenwood Rider. Who do you take?
Lindenwood Rider, Lindenwood's in the Ohio Valley, one of our small schools.
That's terrible. I shouldn't be making fun of these schools.
Yeah.
But
it's
funny.
we got to show the small schools love. I like
No.
following them. 300 and something college basketball programs. Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's
You talk about action.
Oh, I know.
I mean, you can be in action every minute.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Every day.
There'll be 140 college basketball games on a Saturday when football season gets done.
Well, yeah, and this is one of the reasons why I don't really bet any college basketball right now this time of year is all my attention's on the football, and so it gives me about a month and a half of stats and information. So when the football season's over, now I can start pouring into college basketball. I can see what's been going on for the last 6 weeks. Who's doing something? What freshmen are making their marks? And then also come January, we're getting into the conference play. I'd much rather bet the conference play versus this and non-conference.
John
It's Stetson Rider.
John, we need a 3-teamer in so we can get in before
Well, let's
11.
get this guy's 3-teamer in here.
Yeah.
So, we're going to go Michigan State, Indiana, actually, guys. Michigan State, Indiana. Huh?
Are you on state there?
I'm on the points.
You're on
I
the
don't think
points.
anybody's going to win by more than 10.5.
No? Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, so we're going to go Indiana plus 10.5. We're going to.
You didn't give that out yesterday.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We're going to go.
Let's add another one to the docket.
Yeah. I'm going to close it out. The third pick is going to be a surprise.
Well,
I'm going to have him cross over to something here. But we're going to go Boston College plus 20.5.
Okay.
Against
The Irish.
The pitiful Irish in Notre Dame. Their quarterback's awful.
All right.
Clemson's quarterback's awful,
So
but this Drew Pine guy for Notre Dame, he is the worst. He's like 5'7", can barely see over the line. He's awful.
Our fisherman's
Good enough
friend
to
pick of the day.
Good enough to beat Clemson,
No,
though.
he didn't beat them. The special teams
We're
and
gonna do
the
a
dang
fisherman's friend
defense
pick
beat
of the
them.
day.
But
You
yeah,
hear me,
that
John?
guy's awful. What?
Our third pick is
Our third pick of the day
is
for
the
that
fisherman's
3-teamer.
friend pick of the day.
Our fisherman's friend pick of the day to close out the 3-teamer is going to be
You better get
crossing
some
over,
sponsorship for that one.
crossing over into the basketball world. Take SLU -3.
Oh,
The Billikens -3. Close it out with the Billikens.
Oh, so not a
-3.
football game.
no.
Billikens. All right.
Let's go in college
Close it
basketball.
out.
All right. This is
With-
a college basketball. We're switching it over.
Yep. If they can look that good to start the year. SLU's, look at the points that they've scored. They've scored, 80-something against, let's see here. Let me bring it up. SLU, they're in the 80s and 90s, but SLU has scored 91, 83, and 90. 99, 83, 90, 91.
That's a
And
lot.
yeah.
That's
They beat a
lot.
Murray State team, who Murray State had a good win against a good UMass team the other day. Murray State 91-68. They just buried Murray State. Murray State's a respectable team.
Well, they put up 92 on Memphis, and that's pretty
They
impressive.
put 90 on Memphis,
Yeah.
90-84. But, 91 on Murray State, 83 against the Evansville game, which they're going to beat Evansville by that much. But 90 against Memphis. Let's go SLU -3. They are just rolling. I wouldn't be surprised to see them crack the top 10 this year.
Wow.
That wouldn't be surprised at all. They're going to be, even if they don't win the conference tournament, they're going to be a shoe-in for the NCAA tournament the way they're playing.
Who are the guys that are leading SLU this year on
They got a local kid, guard, Yuri Collins.
Yuri
So
Collins?
Collins kid is
Okay.
leading SLU really, and he's quick too. Quick, can handle the ball, defensive-minded, takes charges, competitive. So
Nice.
I like what I see.
You
out
got to
of
have a
the
good point
Billikens.
guard to do something. To make a team like SLU that hasn't really been there in the years past, I believe you really got to have a point guard to lead the
Yeah.
charge.
And last year was all the young guys. They were younger. Now they're
Yeah.
experienced, bringing everybody back. So big on SLU. I'm going to have some action on them. That starts at noon.
All right, hey, we got about 10 minutes left, so let's get to some
Let's
picks.
get into some of our football picks. I like to start at 11, of course, guys. I want to see if I'm digging myself out of a hole or if I've got some change to play with going into the 2 to 3 o'clock games. So let's start at 11 here.
Yeah,
and
so he's got to hit the coin star by the late game.
the coin star.
Yeah, where you take all your change and you dump it and they spit it out and you
Oh,
get cash at the counter.
Yeah, I've seen those. Never used one. I'm not much of a coins guy. I'd lose them too quickly.
Okay.
Somebody gives me change, I'm losing those coins within 30 minutes.
Well, I just save my change in once a year.
Well, you can save it. I can't. I'm
no
terrible.
kidding. No kidding.
I'll put stuff down and, it's a mess. But it's an organized mess. A lot of times I know where it's at, as long as people don't go touching it, But once you start touching it and cleaning it up, then I don't know where anything's at. Just leave it a mess. I'll find it eventually. But to start off the 11 o'clock hour, we're going to go to UConn. I'm going with Mike. Yeah, I like UConn plus 10.5 here.
There we go.
How do you not take the points against an Army team with UConn here? UConn has looked really good, guys.
Well, in the last 2 weeks, Army hasn't even cracked 10 points. So,
wow.
Army, I think they've scored a total of 16 points the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right. They've scored 9, 7. Yeah. And then look at the other games. Army scored 10, 14.
Yeah, I don't think Army's in a position to be laying 10.5 points versus anyone.
No, they're not.
So.
You're exactly right. So let's jump all over UConn plus 10.5, guys. Let's do it. So
let's double up.
Yeah.
What do we got? 8 minutes to get that in?
Yeah.
7.5, 8 minutes, something. Let's get it in. And then
what do you think about that Florida Vandy 11 o'clock game?
Yeah, Vandy's getting 14 points. Florida's just up and down. They're a mess. They should have lost to South Florida about a month and a half ago, or 2 months ago.
I love Anthony Richardson, the quarterback there.
Yeah,
at Florida.
he's not next year.
Yeah,
he's just kind of finding his footing. First year under Billy Napier, he's just too inconsistent.
You don't think he'll come out for the NFL draft in the?
He has no business coming out.
He's predicted to be a top 20, top 25 pick.
Well, those
are you going
to
pass up that kind of whether or not he deserves it or not? Is he going to be able to pass up that kind of millions
I get it. Hey, I don't fault these kids for coming out early.
Right.
If they want to do that, that's their life, their career. Do what you want as an individual. But for long-term success, this kid needs another year.
Oh, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, I mean, those scouts are blind, but those scouts are arrogant. They always think they can turn, gold into, sand into gold or whatever, but those scouts are blind if they think this Richardson kid's ready.
I'll tell you this, teams like Vanderbilt, who had such a huge upset win last week, an outright win on top of it versus Kentucky.
Yep.
Teams like that, I find, fall a little bit and fall flat the next week.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually looking to see if Florida can cover the number.
Yeah, Florida killed the Gamecocks last week.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy to see that. I hate South Carolina.
Yeah.
I can't stand them.
There's a shocker. From the
yeah.
Clemson man.
You know what they said 5 years ago when Will Muschamp had they beat Georgia 4 years ago or something.
Yeah.
Their announcers come up, Clemson's scared of the success of Will Muschamp. They are scared. Clemson's cycling out and the Gamecocks are cycling in. Yeah, there's, they busted a tire on the way of cycling in. Yeah, whatever, I hate South Carolina, but, that's a genuine hate, So I was happy to see.
Hey, free show, man.
Hey, they
he does 2 shows a day.
I was at the Clemson-Louisville game last week, and they flashed the Gamecocks score up 30-6, Florida winning, and everybody started doing the Gator chomp and cheering, You'd have thought a touchdown would have just happened, but no, South Carolina's losing really bad. It's great, You
got 5 minutes, brother.
Yeah. But, let's go Illinois plus 17.5. I like these points, guys.
All right.
Getting Chase Brown back. Illinois is hungry. They played every game close. Yeah. Every single game they've played close. I know they're going to Ann Arbor and all that.
Losing the last 2 weeks kind of concerns me a little bit. So,
yeah, I mean.
And against teams like Michigan State, that terrible loss. Terrible loss. So.
But I like the 17.5 here. Keep it close. Last week Michigan struggled against Nebraska first half, kind of.
Yeah,
they were slow again, like you said earlier. Right. So you might want to look at that plus 10 on the first half of Illinois too.
You still like Pitt minus 7?
Yeah. Pitt minus 7. You can throw that in there. I like the over too. Duke and Pitt over 49 and Pitt minus 7. So that's something to look at as well. 2
No,
o'clock
I got
games.
some.
We got some snoozers here. Ohio State, Maryland, Georgia, Kentucky.
How about my Wisconsin Badgers on the road at Nebraska today, laying 10 points, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Nebraska's kind of a mess, aren't they?
Wisconsin's kind of a mess.
Yeah.
Graham Mertz, their quarterback, is just a tragic.
There's more hope for Wisconsin than there is Nebraska.
I think there is, just for the fact that they changed out coaches a few weeks back. Jim Leonard seems to be doing a better job, getting a little bit more out of the players.
Yeah, I've noticed that too, for sure. But Wisconsin minus 10 against Nebraska.
Wisconsin's not a team that should be laying 10 against anybody. I'm not saying you should be going out and grabbing Nebraska plus 10, but Wisconsin should not be laying 10 points against anybody.
I get it. I just can't find myself taking Nebraska.
No, I can't either.
You'd have to give me 21.
I can't either.
TCU,
Baylor. I think TCU's going to roll. Let's see here. TCU minus 2. That's an 11 o'clock game. Just move down to 2.
Okay.
Yeah, from 3 to 2. 3 to 2.5 to 2. But moving on to the afternoon, we got a couple of snoozers here. Ohio State, Maryland, and Georgia, Kentucky. Those teams should roll.
Before we run out of time, I personally would love to hear what you think about the Pac-12 tonight. 2 huge games, UCLA, USC, and also Oregon playing Utah.
Yeah, Utah got to go to Oregon. I mean, I really like Oregon, but the way they looked last week is they're just kind of up and down. I think Utah's playing better right now.
Yeah.
I think Utah's playing better, especially defensively. So looks like this is going to be a close.
It's a 3-point line right now.
3-point line.
Yeah, Oregon's minus 3.
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably take the points and take Utah if I had to take something. I'm going to lay off that one. And then the old USC-UCLA matchup. We thought this was going to decide a one-loss Pac-12 champion because they were going to have one loss. UCLA loses to an awful Arizona team last week.
Right.
I mean, Arizona's 3-6, and you lose to Arizona. Just an awful loss.
I think
USC here.
They got caught up
USC.
looking at this game this week, in my opinion.
Look ahead.
I think Chip Kelly, the coach of UCLA, even kind of came out and said so this week that they got caught looking at USC this week. So I think that's going to be a fantastic game. There's no defense to be played today.
Yeah, that's going to be in the 76.5. 76.5.
I'm taking the over. I'm betting the over on that game.
Yeah, so I get it.
I don't think there's going to be one stop the entire game. The punters can sit on the bench, kick their feet up, have a Gatorade, enjoy the game because they're not going to be needed.
I get it. That's a big number. But
it's going to be a fun game to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So
another game I like in the afternoon, Georgia Tech plus 21, guys. North Carolina's defense is awful. Casper the Ghost is their linebacker. You know, they got some zombie at free safety. It's just awful. So Georgia Tech plus 21. North Carolina can't beat anybody by 21. They'll win the game by 10, 14, but 21.
All right, anything else before we wrap it up, guys? You got 1 minute.
That's one more that I noticed here. Kansas plus 9. My Jayhawks are getting 9 points. Disrespectful at home. But they're going to make Texas cry and go 6-5. We're going to go Kansas money line, Kansas plus 9. You know, you can do it in between Kansas plus 6 and get some plus money or something. But I like the Jayhawks here. I think Daniels is back, their quarterback. Yeah. Jaden Daniels is back. So we're going to go with the Jayhawks. Rock Chalk Jayhawk here. And that's for football. We're going to go football, Rock Chalk Jayhawk.
Wait till they get a new stadium.
Oh, my goodness.
I've been on them all year. I had over 2.5 for the year, and we cashed it in week 3.
All right.
That's beautiful.
Hey, listen, I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I will be here next Saturday. I think Clemson's headed back to Death Valley. You're headed back to Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah, we're going to go eat some good Thanksgiving food, some casseroles. I told David yesterday, that's what makes Thanksgiving, is the casserole.
Oh, it's just the food in general.
Yeah. Now, stuffing. Do you do the turkey? Would you prefer stuffing with turkey in it?
Stuffing with turkey in it?
Yes.
Yeah. We got 10 seconds.
Stuffing inside the turkey.
Oh, well.
No, just you want turkey in your stuffing.
Yes, turkey in my stuffing, yes.
No.
Yes.
No, I say no.
And some broccoli and cheese casserole, my favorite.
We're going to wrap it up. Listen, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We'll be back here next week. Have a great Thanksgiving, everyone. For Mike, you, Clemson, John, None of this happens without our producer, Russell Sides. Appreciate everything that you do. Happy Thanksgiving. My name is David Sharp. We'll see you next week.